Support Wrestle Talk!
Order a t-shirt. Raw has a bit of an issue at the moment. We talked about it a little bit in last week's Wrestle Talk opinion. Following the Superstar shakeup, Raw only has 3 main eventers in Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and Bobby Lashley, all of whom are babyfaces. Their top heels are Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Jinder Mahal, but none of them are being positioned as main event stars for the Universal Championship. Other prospects like Baron Corbin are stuck in lower level nothing feuds with Titus Worldwide and No Way Jose, and Drew McIntyre is kicking it with Dolph Ziggler for the time being. But a bigger issue is who is the right man to dethrone Brock Lesnar. Going into WrestleMania 34, we all assumed that Roman Reigns was picking up the win over Lesnar and becoming the new Universal Champion. After all, that was the story that made the most sense. Brock has been on a tear since WrestleMania 33, knocking down contender after contender like Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, and Kane, setting up the big dog to finally get the big win over the big bad on the big stage, because that victory was stolen from him at WrestleMania 31. So after Roman didn't win at WrestleMania, we all thought he was going to win at the Greatest Royal Rumble. After all, that sort of made sense too. The crowd would theoretically be more into him, it's a big moment for the show, and the title change would have got a bigger pop than it would have done in New Orleans, who had a crowd that was more interested in the big beach balls rather than the big dog. Perhaps then he would have faced off against Samoa Joe at Backlash for the title. But once again, Brock Lesnar walked out the building still holding the Universal Championship. That means, if you're keeping score, Roman failed at SummerSlam, he failed at WrestleMania, and he failed at Greatest Royal Rumble. I know people weren't that into Roman before, but losing 3 times, even if you tell them he was screwed on the 3rd occasion, isn't going to get people to cheer him. In fact, it's just going to make people indifferent to him. Roman Reigns has lost what little momentum he had, and he is no longer the right guy to beat Brock Lesnar. That time has passed. If the time wasn't SummerSlam, and the time wasn't WrestleMania, and the time wasn't Greatest Royal Rumble, then that time isn't coming. He is done. Finished. When he cut that promo on Raw saying he'll win the belt, I didn't believe him. WWE have royally screwed the pooch here. No pun intended. They swerved the fans by having Brock retain at WrestleMania for the sake of swerving the crowd in New Orleans. They changed the finish at the very last possible moment for no reason other than people weren't expecting it to happen. And it has killed all chances of Roman being taken seriously as Universal Champion or even a contender to the belt. He is done. He's not the guy anymore. He's not getting the reaction you want. This isn't working. There are guys on the Raw brand with bigger momentum that are waiting in the wings to leapfrog over him and dethrone Brock Lesnar. And yeah, Braun Strowman is one of them. Strowman has also failed to beat Lesnar twice, the first at No Mercy last year and then earlier this year at the Royal Rumble. But particularly on the second attempt, it was made clear that Brock and Braun had unfinished business. And it would be very hard to argue at this point that Braun Strowman isn't one of the most over things on Raw at the moment. His reactions seemingly get louder and louder each and every week. The problem with Braun, however, is that WWE have booked themselves into a corner with his character. They built him up to the point where it seems that no one would be able to beat him or physically match up, which makes his list of genuine contenders very small and slim should he win the title. Which brings us to my personal pick for who the next guy on Raw should be: Seth freaking Rollins. Rollins' first run as the WWE Champion was hampered by the company trying to make him the second coming of Triple H, but he's completely come into his own since his face turn. He is consistently having the best matches in WWE, and Burn It Down is one of the most over things in the company. Seth is being wasted in the Intercontinental Championship role, and a Seth-Brock feud is something that A, we haven't seen in a few years, and B, haven't seen at all with Seth as the babyface challenger. For my money, Seth is a more interesting challenger to Brock than Braun, Roman, or Bobby Lashley. You could argue that Finn Balor is also a name to throw into the mix, but he's been flattened out so much in the last couple of years that he doesn't even feel like he could be a contender to Seth's Intercontinental Championship at this point. And Bobby Lashley's return has also been pretty flat, so he doesn't feel like the right guy either. Seth or Braun are your guys to beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, and you had better do it at Money in the Bank or the next earliest opportunity, because if you have those guys lose too, you are totally out of options for your next big dog. We've got other opinion-based videos here on Wrestle Talk, so click the playlist to the left to check those out. Subscribe to this channel and pledge on Patreon. I have been Luke Owen, and that was just my opinion.